Welcome back, everyone, to another segment of the MCR Mac and Me. My name's TJ, and before we get into the segment, the topic, Mac would like to make an announcement. Mac is our official platform moderator. I'll say he's up on all the platforms that we post on. So I'm going to turn it over to him briefly here.
And I just quickly want to throw out there to the people who seem to want to use our comment section as a dumping ground for their hate. Now, if you disagree with the topic, by all means, make a comment. However, if we're talking about the shutdown, for instance, I don't want to hear about the Epstein files because it's not relevant to what we're talking about. So please stay relevant to our topic. I don't want to see comments that Trump's a pedophile when you never seem to mention that Bill Clinton's a pedophile, which is there's plenty of damn evidence for Joe Biden, who showered with his own underage daughter. You don't seem to mention those. You don't have any proof that Trump's a pedophile, but you keep mentioning it. So if you do that, I'm going to remove your comment. So save yourself some trouble, unless it just makes you warm and fuzzy and gives you wood to hate on someone, which is what I suspect.
All right. Have you said your piece there?
I have.
All right. On to the
So put them
topic.
there and I'll take them away.
All right. On to the topic. Uh, for the most part, Mac and I pretty much agree on a whole lot politically. And initially, I thought maybe he and I were going to split hairs on this segment's topic, but perhaps not after talking to him again. And it involves the filibuster. And I'll just start with this right now off the bat. So many times in politics, you got to pick the lesser of two evils, and I'm sure getting tired of that. Okay, but the Democrats are basically filibustering, given this continuing resolution, uh, and now SNAP has, I guess, ceased its funds. It's out of money. SNAP stands for, gee, I'm trying to do this from memory, Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program. I think that's what it means. It
If it sounds right, and if it isn't that, maybe it should be.
okay. In any event, as I was listening to Benny Johnson, and he was going down the list of stuff that qualified on SNAP, there are 42 million people on SNAP. Did you know that, Mac? That's what
I
Benny
did.
Johnson's report. Okay.
I did. It's about 13% of our population.
Yeah. Uh, 42 million people are on SNAP. And and all sorts of grimy little details are coming to light. Well, now that SNAP's running out of money, because of the continuing resolution not being voted on because the Democrats want to filibuster, thus the government shutting down, blah 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 blah. Okay, so in any event, I guess that's one of the side benefits to what is really a messed up situation. Okay, but this filibuster has got to end. It has to. Trump's had his fill of it. He's calling on the Republicans to uh, do a vote. I guess you can vote on procedural measures where they can cease the filibuster. You know, the filibuster, you got to have 60 votes to break the filibuster, or the opposing side initiating the filibuster has to throw in the towel. Okay, and well, the Democrats are filibustering. They're not going to throw in the towel. And Trump says, you know what? This has got to end. And J.D. Vance said something, and I fear he's right, and it's a rather pessimistic thought, but J.D. Vance made the comment, Republicans, you might as well do it because if and when, and at some point it will be if and when, the Democrats are going to regain control of the Senate, and they will unleash with a fury. Okay? It's
Well,
just
they're all about changing the rules to benefit themselves.
exactly, exactly. They will unleash a fury, and eh, J- I fear JD Vance is right, and if that's the case, then they might as well just have a procedural
Well,
vote and gut the
when when
filibuster.
when Marty was with us on our channel, he was making a comment of how you got to, stay true to the rules, and I think in our hearts that's what we would like. But I used the example of we're playing a baseball game, and we hit the ball, we run to first, second, third, and then home. They hit the ball and they run to third and run home. You can't play that way. So you have two choices. You're either going to lose the game, and there's a lot to lose here, or you're going to play the way they do.
Yeah, 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 really. You know, I suppose from my position, I th- I'm thinking here's and if I understand procedural matters, and I'm hardly a legal scholar, I confess, but take it back to the original intent. If you want to filibuster, you get up there and read Green Eggs and Ham or something.
Right.
You just don't say filibuster. I mean, I mentioned this in the last segment, and it still sticks
Yeah.
in my craw. But you just don't say we're voting for filibuster and then go home and eat dinner or party or whatever. No, you're going to do a filibuster. You do it the way it used to be, and you get up there and you talk. And you know what? Read from the Bible, maybe. I don't know, but this we're filibustering and then just go your merry way. No, no, that's got to stop. I
Yeah.
don't know what it takes,
Well,
but
like I said, I think this Chuck Schumer can't see the writing on the wall. He's afraid of AOC. She's going to primary him. She's going to get his seat, and his gravy train is going to go off the tracks. Problem is that's going to happen. Per what JD Vance is saying, it's going to happen. She's going to get his seat because those people in New York, I don't know if they handed out stupid pills every day in school or there's just a massive hysteria or mental illness going on in that state. But, they're about to elect we'll see Tuesday, of course, but they're about to elect a communist, Islamic radical as their mayor. They have a nutcase for a governor. And yeah, they would elect AOC for the Senate because I don't know. Maybe they like her rack.
well, to add fuel to this fire, the Republicans got a history of caving. So, from the Democrat perspective, hey, let's just dig in. They'll give,
Well, they have
you know?
something we don't, and that's unity. They'll
Oh,
they'll
yeah.
all die on the Hill.
Yes.
We no, you're going to have the Rand Pauls who want to mow the lawn while the house is on fire because they're on the high road.
You say die on the Hill, they'll die to the point of life support, but somehow still hang on, you know?
Well, because we have an unbounding number of stupid people, and I talked about the comment section. I remove them, but if I left them, people could read those and just see how just these people are deceivers. Well, they call illegals immigrants. They call, it's like you could call a pedophile the good guys. Well, who would want to get rid of the good guys? They play games with the language for the purposes of deception. For instance, I had someone comment, well, the Republicans are in control of the government, so it's their shutdown. You're missing a few details in your assumption, and they never seem to get that.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's maybe they're stupid people. I have to kind of believe they're stupid or mentally ill.
Well, that comment you just mentioned leads to the okay, we'll have a procedural vote and gut the filibuster. Here's the
Yeah.
thing: have a procedural vote and say, okay, if you want to filibuster, get your ass in here and get up there and start talking. You know
Well,
what?
too many high roaders are still under the illusion
Oh
that you
yeah,
can reason with these people.
yeah. And yeah,
It's like
they
trying to reason. It's like saying, here, boy, let me pet you. I'm a good guy to the rabid dog that's foaming at the mouth. That's who we're dealing with here. Rabid dogs.
well,
And what do you do with a rabid dog?
I don't think very many people on our side, and I'll tell you right now, it's going to be the high roaders. Okay, they haven't come to terms with the fact that their fringe base has taken control of that party. And and here's the thing. You can say this is no longer the party of Bill Clinton, but you know what? Bill Clinton was sowing the seeds of what we got growing today. You know,
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, Bill Clinton looks like a conservative now.
well, yeah, but even back then, Bush lied, people died. Not that I'm a fan of Bush, but you know, man, that's a long time ago.
He
Bush
did,
lied,
and they
people
did.
died, you know, and and so from birth they grow up. Bush lied, people died. They're fascist. They're no good. They're not. Blah, 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 and now that they're of voting age, and now it's like here I now because I was thinking about this. Let's just go back to Tip O'Neill and those days, but you know, they would say stupid stuff, but know in their heart it's not true. Problem is, they've said that stupid stuff, and and I don't
Too
know,
often.
I don't know what this new generation's referred to as. I don't know. I know they're not boomers, but Gen X or Z or whatever.
I don't know, and I'm tired of that labeling
Yeah,
bullshit too.
but they from the time they were little, they hear all this BS. Like I said, and then and now that they're of voting age, now they're unleashed, you
Well,
know?
I mean, perhaps I'll send you the picture and you can put it on the screen. But I saw a group of teachers, and I don't know where they were, but they're wearing T-shirts that look bloody. We're
Oh,
referencing Charlie Kirk,
yeah, yes.
saying "problem solved." Well, I look at my wife and I said, you know what? In a few weeks, I'll be 66, and in my life, I've been a pretty good problem solver too. Don't become my problem.
I did see that picture, and in the news report of that picture that I read was, well, they were wearing the same thing last year. I don't think so. I don't think
Well,
so.
another
You know?
deceptive lie.
I know. It's just, you know, as I like to say, a bunch of bovine excrement. But,
Yeah.
and that's PC, politically correct
I would
speech.
warn anybody wearing those kind of shirts or thinking that way, better be careful what you wish for,
And I'm
because it
thinking,
ain't going to be undone. It's not Call of Duty and your little video games. This shit's going to be for real.
and the thought crossed my mind here, you know, you got Antifa and like these the younger I don't want to say the young that these college kids, okay, uh, thinking it's all right to act out, okay, and of course the college the teaching staff or whatever however they're referred to, they make what's that? So in any event, they make excuses as if to say, well, they're just acting. I mean, is that to say that if and when the Democrats take over, it's okay for us to act out? And you know where I'm going with that.
Of course it is, and we're not going to. If we were all the things they say we were, they wouldn't be saying them anymore.
Well, but anyways, I've said my piece on this issue.
Yeah.
Far as I'm concerned, they can vote to end the filibuster to the extent of taking it back to its original intent and usage, that being, hey, you want a filibuster? Get up here and talk. Oh, you can't talk anymore? Okay, now we're voting. You know what I'm saying? Uh, I do believe that was,
Limit it to one or two people.
yeah. Uh,
That way, it can only last about 4 days. You're going to go up there and use your diaper, and you don't get any water the whole time you're doing it either.
well, to me, that's the extent of that's that's what I would compromise with. But
Well, you said we disagreed, but I've come to my opinion has evolved to I don't see where they're not going to give us any option.
no, they're not. And now I'm reading, well, they want to wait and see what happens with the election. Well, they're always waiting for something. There's always an excuse. They're waiting on this or they're waiting on that. If you remember 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I can't even remember the reason back then, they were given. Oh, they're waiting to see uh, if and I think it had to do with well, they're waiting to see how the air traffic controllers respond or this or that, or
And I'll tell you how they're responding. They're not getting paid, and anyone who's not getting paid isn't going to do as good a job, and eventually it's going to cost someone's life. So while you're going to cost someone their life, and oh, by the way, we will give them full credit for waiting around while this happens.
yeah, and I read in some news report there's already a 2% delay on flights. 2% of the flights are
And that's
delayed.
a lot of flights.
Uh,
25,000 last week, I believe.
so I'm assuming what I read was accurate. Because yes, I know anyone can get on the internet and say anything. Look at us.
Yes. Right.
But anyways, that's it for now. Any final thoughts before we sign off, Mac?
One thing I wish President Trump had done a lot earlier, and he hasn't done it yet, and I don't think he's going to. I would like to see a Ronald Reagan-esque Oval Office address, putting this out to the people so that they understand what's going on, and just to debunk the lies of these Hakeem Jeffries, who sounds like he needs to be in a mental institution, and Chuck Schumer, who ought to be in prison. Just go ahead and spell it out to the people in plain language, because I think that's something Trump's good at. So that's what he ought to be doing. I don't know who's advising him, but that should have been done 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, you know what? And I think that's a good idea. Uh, my retort to that will be, with as much as he talks to the press and the press conferences and whatnot, he may have felt he's kind of already done that, albeit indirectly, perhaps. But
Well, he's incorrect in that assumption.
yeah, and that's just a guess. I'm just
He ought to
guessing.
read our comment. Maybe the president should read our comment section. Maybe I'll
Yeah.
send a link of this video to the White House and see if maybe it can get someone's attention.
Yep. Okay. Well, I believe that's it. We've said our piece. Thanks everyone for your support. And I keep forgetting to mention thanks everyone if you're watching us on Rumble. Thank you very much. And we'll catch you in the next segment. As always, be safe, watch your six, and don't tread on me.